today we've got a video how exercise makes you fat, the science. This is all backed with clinical data, but we're just going to do a basic entertaining hand-drawn one. So cortisol, that is one of the most important hormones in the body. Your body weight's basically ran on hormones. You got testosterone, estrogen, they're the main ones. Insulin, very anabolic. You know, those sort of hormones are really, your cornerstone. When your insulin is up, your body weight goes up. Estrogen is up, body weight goes up. Testosterone up, body weight goes up. Now, cortisol is interesting because your body weight can go up long term, but short term it'll go down. Cortisol is very popular with swimmers, runners, and cyclists in the Olympic level. They're like gold. I'm talking gold, not talking qualifiers, we're talking gold. And the reason why cortisol is such a powerful drug, it's normally used as prednisone, pred or ken, injectable. That's the real. This is just the real. I don't recommend it. Obviously, this is the real strong stuff. Makes you feel like Superman, Superwoman, short term. And then you crash and you've got to recover. But for competition purposes, this stuff lets you breathe better, you lean out, you shred weight. It just, your face often gets puffy, but your body gets smaller and lighter and tighter. You get this big face on the thing. So PC means prednisone cheeks, your face gets really puffy versus, your normal face. You get this puffy face with a lean body, but your face is puffy. You see it in a lot of Olympic marathon runners. Not everyone gets the pred cheeks, but some people do. Some people stay lean. This is person to person. Also, what raises your body weight is Seco. All right, when people worship Seco, so that's James Smith, Greg Duchesne, etc. All that advice will make you fat long term. That's all they always. They might mean well, but they got no idea. And that's why they really struggle to stay lean themselves year round. And anyone who takes their advice never stays lean because their cortisol is just going to go up. All right. So how do we lower cortisol? All right. So when you lower cortisol long term, all right. So we're going to go so anabolic. Right. These things are anabolic, even though cortisol is both anabolic and catabolic. We're going to talk about now how to get cortisol to be catabolic C. All right. And what's going to cause C is weight loss. So it's weight going down. So you might be trying to go your way up. Maybe you're a power lifter or whatever. So you want to go up in weight. All right. So I'm going up in weight at the moment because we're going up to 90 kilos for a YouTube series. So we've been maximizing, we've been leveraging primarily testosterone and estrogen and a little bit of insulin to go up in weight. And cortisol, I've been keeping pretty low because I just feel good with lower cortisol. And I've not been doing this because that just makes you fat long term. I don't want to get fat. I want to get anabolic. Lean gains. And cortisol is catabolic, so going down. So how do we lower cortisol? What lowers cortisol? How do we get cortisol down? Sugar lowers cortisol. Also, what increases cortisol is stimulants. So ST stimulants, caffeine, cocaine, Adderall, Ritalin, green tea, so tea, chocolates, that's cacao, theobromine, things like that. All the stimulants, modafinil, sort of, all these things, amphetamines, they all raise cortisol. All right. Sugar lowers cortisol. Alcohol, booze, which I don't recommend, but also lowers cortisol. So when we understand why people drink to suppress, cortisol also goes up with anxiety. Okay, so when your cortisol's going up, your anxiety's going up. When you've got a lot of anxiety, cortisol's going up. And to reduce anxiety, some people hit the sugar. Most people hit the booze, or their fatty ice cream, and they get all this fat with it. So that's just stored as fat. So if you do have high cortisol from anxiety, stress, which everyone has at some point, just smash in some sugar. And that is going to be fruit with sugar. That's really very, very pretty writing there. Fruit with sugar or rice with sugar. Have a meal of that, or just drink a bottle of cordial, neck of that, and you'll just notice your cortisol goes right down, and anxiety right down to normal, bit more normal levels. Anxiety is normal. It keeps us safe, it helps us think and process things. But when you feel you can't control anxiety, you need to increase your sugar, and that will bring your anxiety down because your cortisol will go down. So cortisol is lower, anxiety is lower. Simple as that. Booze brings it down, but the thing with booze is it's LT, liver toxic. All right, it kills red blood cells. It's protoplasmic poison. It's PP. protoplasmic poison. All right, so alcohol, whilst lower cortisol make you feel better, it makes you just stupid. It makes you stupid in the brain. It kills brain cells. We know that alcohol is just bad, And generally, when we're drinking alcohol, we're not talking. If you have a beer a day, it's not going to do much. But we're talking 6-pack, bottle of wine, a couple bottles of wine a day. We're just talking, abuse of alcohol where you're getting drunk. You're drunk, and that is just going to be bad. Okay, we've got to clear some more room. This camera. Another thing that also makes cortisol goes up, late nights, all right? Late nights. Kids, stress, all these things make cortisol go up, so you store more visceral fat. VF. That's belly fat, the spare tire that a lot of people have, skinny arms and legs, but they have the visceral fat, all right? That's cortisol protecting you from the famine that you're constantly in, okay? Because you're not getting enough carbs. And so your body's like, wow, we're in a famine, let's store some belly fat, which won't slow us down too much because humans need to run, fight or flight. So we'll put the weight not on the ankles, we'll put it around the belly. So it's got a good center of gravity weight, balance. And so visceral fat, people see people like, I can't lose my visceral fat, It's because your cortisol's still too high. Your body's still in famine mode. So visceral fat's generally the last thing to lose, but it's, some people call it an insulin belly. I just call it cortisol belly. It's cortisol fat. It's because you put your body through a lot of stress, and primarily from lack of carbohydrate, because we know sugar drops cortisol. So you can have all the stress in the world, you can have the kids, you can have the late nights, and all these triggers, but if your cortisol, you drop it down with enough sugar, you're good to go, So if you do have the belly fat, add in sugar for long term, you'll get rid of. And the thing is people measure day to day. They jump on the scales and go, it's not working. It's like, are you serious? It's like becoming a YouTuber and next day you wake up, oh, I haven't got 1 million subscribers yet. I haven't got 1,000 views in the video yet. Like, this isn't working. You suck. People are so short term, aren't they? Such a short term thing. It's like going on a date, and at the end of the date, you're like, don't you love me? Don't you want to spend the rest of my life with me? Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Like, people stop being short term. Visceral fat, it doesn't go in a week. Give it time. Give it as much time as your body needs to repair from what damage you've done from doing calories in, calories out. All right, let's get rid of that crap. That's bad. Ditch it. So there you go. That's how you're going to lower cortisol. This is what exercise makes you fat, is because what happens is exercise also raises cortisol. Exercise. And often most people do but is it exercise? Does exercise raise cortisol? Or is it the stimulants people have with exercise? Maybe it's a bit of both, Either way, by having enough carbohydrate, having sugar with the exercise, you're going to lower your cortisol, okay? And that's what's going to keep you lean so long term. That's why if you go to Asia, Asia, Africa, India, these people are very slim. Their weight is quite lean because their cortisol is quite low, and they're very relaxed people generally. Especially Asians, the rice people, and Africans as well, the corn. Well, they live on corn, sugar drinks, rice, wheat, carbohydrate, sugars, and so their cortisol is a lot lower, and they're generally happier people. Unless they're in a famine and in a civil war, then it all goes to hell. So Africa, Asia, India, that's where you're going to go. You're going to get slim people, skinnies, the LL lines in the stomach, things like that. So that's why that's why all my girlfriends look like, LLs, Korean style, K-pop, because they have lower cortisol levels. So because I push the sugar here. This is a sugar mountain house. Sugar. High cortisol is anabolic long term. It makes you feel like shit. You're stressed out, anxiety, or anorexia. Here's another thing as well. Keto people have high cortisol. Anorexics have high cortisol. Right? You test their blood cortisols in the evening, and it's just super high all day. Higher than it would be otherwise, they're hypothetical twin. So cortisol in the morning goes up, just to get you out of bed, go find some food, get started, and it goes up, and then it starts to go down during the day. But with the average person on freaking keto or anorexia or heaps of stims, it goes up and just stays up, So it's meant to come up, and then you wind down. In the evening, the sun's going down, you're like, I just got to go to sleep, You're just like, oh, I feel like just tired. Not sad, but I feel tired. What's the sleepy face? Closed eyes, whatever, bad art. So that's what happens with the not enough carbs. That's why people can't sleep. They're like keto diet or anorexics is insomnia. KI, keto insomnia, anorexic insomnia, because they just can't sleep, Even raw fruitists as well. Fruitarians, because it's hardly enough sugar just on fruit, because the fruit's not that ripe. You get that raw fruit insomnia. All right? Fasting as well. People do fast, notorious not sleeping, because it cortisol in a fast bound us up. That's why when people do the post-fast rebound. So just Natasha reminded me then, like, how can we use cortisol for good? Right? Cortisol is performance enhancing. So the higher levels of cortisol, the more power you can put out, etc. But again, you need to recover. You need to go down. What happens with athletes, they keep going up and up and up, and they're just going to crash. So people go, oh, I can use prednisone to lose weight. Yeah, mate, prednisone, Kennicort, this will get you so lean, but then you're going to crash massively, all right? And you're going to blow out, and eating disorders coming in, all right? So if you want to lose weight, use these things, but then you have to rebound eating disorder. It's basically like using a credit card to go buy a Porsche today that you can't afford, you know? Just really going to set yourself up. So I see that all the time. The cyclists abusing Kennicort and prednisone to lose weight and do heaps of training. Not much food. They just rush themselves and absolutely go crazy, man. Like crazy in like terms of depression. I've known people who are suicided. Or just try to take their life. It's really, really bad. The come down of this stuff is really bad. Your adrenal cortex just gets hammered, man. Absolutely hammered. All right. I've used prednisone before for an allergy, and I was also very curious about it. I was like, prednisone, doctor gave it to me. I was like, okay, this, and the amount they prescribed me, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to listen. I'm going to use common sense, and I took quarter. All right, I took 25% of what the doctor recommended I used, and even that was too much. You know, and I was just laughing, and I took it for like that doctor said take it for 2 weeks. I took it for 2 days. First day I was like, this is a powerful drug. I'm only taking 25%. I lasted 2 days. I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is too strong. I'm going to rebound so hard on that. I didn't want to do it. So there you go. Doctors, don't listen to doctors in terms of 100%. Like take advice on board, but don't think it's 100%. You know, there's a word called. I'll get to this graph in a sec. There's a word called iatrogenic. Iatrogenic. This is why most doctors look so poorly health, and most doctors got poor fitness. It's because of iatrogenic deaths causes them a lot of sleeping issues. So Google iatrogenic. All right. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not an anti-medication person. I'm just all about pro-physiology, pro-science, pro-common sense. And so, as athletes, to leverage cortisol and performance, like let's say, if I'm doing a 24-hour race, you know, let's say you want to start, you know, you got a date that's going on good, you want to have a good night, then don't eat a massive meal of carbohydrate, all right, because that'll drop your cortisol and you'll relax. You want to go sleep, okay? So if you want to stay up all night or get up early in the morning, you generally want to, like, let's say you got a plane flight at 3 a.m., then just don't eat much carbohydrate that day, you know. Obviously you'll be more tired and stuff the next day, but it depends on the thing. I mean, I always get an alarm clock. But if I wanted to stay up as late as possible, then I wouldn't have my carbohydrate, because carbohydrate lowers cortisol, makes us more relaxed, chills us out, lowers anxiety. So if I was doing like let's say I was doing something for Broadway, you know, where I had to be like this depressed, manic, crazy person, then I'd cut my carbs. All right, carbs, I'd cut them, because then the anxiety goes up. How can you play an anxiety character, depressed character, if your cortisol is chill? You know what I mean? You need to drive cortisol up so anxiety can go up. So cut carbs. Cutting carbs equals depression. All right. If you want to be depressed for the Hollywood or Broadway or school drama thing, then you need to cut carbs, man. Keto diet. All right. The best thing for depression: eat keto. It's going to make you really sad. All right. You're gonna have tears down here. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, get this person out of my life. This is not no friends. So keto, you lose friends, you lose sex, you lose everything. Keto life. You know, anorexia. Local anorexics, most anorexics walk by themselves because they're so depressed, they're so lonely, they feel so crap because their cortisol's so high, anxiety's so high, their vibe is just really bad. All right, so that's why I don't prescribe anorexia, because it just makes you feel like shit, and when you feel like shit, people don't want to hang around you unless they also feel like shit, and misery loves company. So if you want to attract more depressed people in your life, then, you know, be more depressed, and misery loves company. So there you go there. But if you want to feel happy, smash the carbs, sugar, white rice, fruit as much as you want. Keep fat under 10 grams a day. There you go. Under 10 grams a day fat, because the more fat you eat, the more cortisol goes up as well. So again, cortisol is your friend, all right? Cortisol is your friend. Like, you want to have cortisol in your body. You don't know cortisol, you probably die. You probably wouldn't get out of bed. So cortisol is great. You want to leverage it though. And the keto diet and the stimulants, you know, these things create too much cortisol and they increase anxiety too much. Anxiety is normal in the brain. Anxiety is like your brain doesn't want you happy, your brain wants you safe. So anxiety is like a little, like anxiety and cortisol, they like go hand in hand. You know, is everything okay? Is that a tiger? Is that a little pussycat? Is this fruit I'm about to eat? Is this poisonous, or what's going on? You know, so is this cliffs? Is this okay? Like, is that a crocodile? Is that a log? Like, you want to have cortisol, you want to have anxiety, but just enough. Okay, when it goes up too much, you feel out of control, and life spirals out of control. You become excessively hypervigilant. You can't relax. You might be getting a head job and you can't even chill out. You just, because your cortisol's too high. All right, so your sex is better when the cortisol's lower as well, because you can actually enjoy yourself and be poised and enjoy the situation and relax. It's very hard to calm if your cortisol's too high. Okay, orgasm, especially with women. Especially with women, I find if a woman's cortisol's too high, she can't relax. She won't orgasm, typically, genetically. So sugar brings cortisol down, to better levels, manageable levels. Booze brings it down, but again, booze has side effects. Your medications as well. Let's type in medications. There's medications out there that can bring cortisol down, but again, side effects. Right? There's no side effects to sugar because we need sugar. We don't need these medications. We're not born for those medications in our bloodstream. We're not born for alcohol in our bloodstream. We're born for sugar. Sugar is sweet. Sugar makes us happy. Sugar is dopamine. Right? People use cocaine and booze to get dopamine. You know what I mean? There's people out there say, don't use sugar because it's like dopamine. It's as addictive as cocaine. So is popping a patty. Patting a puppy. So is patting a kitten. It raises dopamine. All right? So there's idiots out there. There's this thing called FD, all right? Frustratingly dumb people. And they get more cortisol up. Sugar's bad. It's like a cocaine. You know what I mean? It's so fuck. It's just some people in life, all they're going to be is frustratingly dumb. And we call these people NPC. If you don't know what NPC means, Google it up. The best thing we can do for NPC people is not be an NPC. Non-player character. Think of Mario Kart. If you want NPC is Mario World. Thanks, Nintendo. There you go. That's how to leverage cortisol. Avoid iatrogenic issues from taking things you don't need, and you're going to have a lot better quality of life. There we go. That's why people go, Harley, you get so lean, then you pack on muscle so quick, like what's going on? And anabolic steroids as well, they increase cortisol. So if you get undercarbed, or they'll increase your cortisol spike. If you get undercarbed, that's where roid rage comes along. Roid rage is real, like especially with tren and stuff like that. It's real because if you're cutting, like these idiots out there, I should say there's idiots, but there's also not kind people who think carbs are bad. Sincerely wrong people. So if you're on steroids, anabolic steroids, and you cut your carbs, your cortisol is going to go way up. It's going to be like cortisol suppression on steroids, literally. And so your anxiety is going to go through the roof. You're going to be paranoid. You're probably going to punch at your grandma. You think your grandma's from the CIA, or your grandma's, giving you shit on Facebook, and you're going to punch at your grandma. That's what happens on roid rages for some people. So never, ever, 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 ever cut your sugar if you're taking steroids. Never cut your sugar anytime, but especially if you're using anabolic steroids. If you're on the trend, you need more sugar. Otherwise, you're going to really have a bad time. Steroids meant to be fun, man. Not bad. So enjoy your sugars, get it up, get it going, pun intended. As well, in the evening, when they can't sleep because their cortisol's like going, they need the booze. All right? Mark Sisson, Sarah Wilson, all these anti-sugar people also have a lot of anxiety. Sarah Wilson, she jumped out of a car. Her anxiety is so high because the cortisol is so high from lack of carbs. Look at Sarah Wilson. Again, no hate, but look at Sarah Wilson or Mark Sisson or James Smith. These people who fear calories, fear carbohydrate. They look very stressed out. Anxiety is high. Cortisol is high. And what do they all love at night time? Booze. They want some booze to help lower that cortisol. Okay. So I don't recommend booze because it has all the side effects. I recommend sugar. The very thing that helps save you is the thing that people fear, and no wonder they had so much alcohol issues and depression, and they really suck at life compared to their hypothetical twin who would have, better smiley faces. These people are very successful in business, but they're very, very depressed, and you can see it. They're honest about it. They're addicted to alcohol, can't give it up because they need the alcohol. They need sleeping pills. Because their cortisol is so high in the evening, they can't sleep and they feel crazy. That sucks, man. That absolutely sucks. Doesn't matter if you're Australian of the Year, if you're multi-millionaire, if you're feeling depressed and listless and out of out of control with anxiety, your life really, really sucks. Quality-wise, really, really sucks. And then what's worse is you're giving this advice to people like James Smith, Greg Douchet, calories in, calories out worshippers, and these people, your followers, have the depression. They have that increased anxiety because their cortisol is going up, 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 and they don't know why. They feel so crap in any given moment. Cortisol's going up. People, it's all about the hormones. You follow my protocols, your testosterone will be chill, your estrogen will be chill, insulin will be chill, cortisol will be chill. And if you want to gain or lose weight, you can manipulate these things. Okay, it's as simple as that. Stimulants, don't use them, or use them at 25% the dose. And don't use them every single day because you want your cortisol to be chill. Carbs in for the win.